Hi, welcome to the channel. We're doing something kind of different today, something I've actually never done before. We're making a bench, starting on making a bench for a customer. We're going to be using these big walnut panels here for legs. These are crotch cuts off a big log. I got two bookmarked ones here, matching ones that came off the same log. I think they did anyway, so they should look like it. So right now I'm just going to measure them out, lay them out, get an idea where I want them to go, how big they got to be. We're looking somewhere between 18 inches tall, I think 18 inches tall, and then with the bench top, which I'm not sure if you can see that here, I'll come show you. This is going to be the bench top. This big gigantic slab of walnut here. It's going to be flat cut on the back to go up against the wall, and the live edge front's going to be in the front, but I'm going to soften up this live edge a little bit so it's not as sharp as it currently is. This is a rough cut piece. Does have a little damage back here that's going to have to be trimmed off. But we're going to work on the legs first, get an idea how those are going to lay out. Then we'll come in and start finishing this piece here. This is all going to be hand sanded, hand planed. It's going to be a lot of work. And then we'll fill in any gaps or holes. But it's really a good piece. Once we get some of the rough cuts off of it, it's going to be a great piece. So I'll put this back over here out of the way. And we're going to start working on the legs. So I'm just going to do some measurements and some layout here, and I'll kind of narrate this as we go a little bit later on. So if we think that's flat. Enough. 18 and a half. Go 18 and a half. One of the fun parts here is trying to match up square with the bottom, but both edges are not square, so there's no place to really run a line. So I think what I'll do is come from the square bottom to the corner and mark an upper mark. And I'll do the same on this side. That'll give me kind of a reference line to make a straight line from my marks. That's going to be right about there. That's pretty close to where I want it to be. It's going to have a little bit, might have to go a little bit shorter. I'm going to go right from the point here on this side. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that will definitely make it perfect. And I am going to cut it just a little bit long. So I got something to work with too if I need to. So that's my straight line. I'm going to do the same thing on the other piece. Now this piece here, the second half of that one, actually broke off. So I think because this back piece is going to eventually have to be flat to go against the wall, I'm going to glue it back on, clamp it. I'm just going to rough glue it like it sits, and then I'll fill this gap, whatever gaps remaining left, with maybe some black epoxy. I'm going to use black epoxy in all these holes. So I'm going to go ahead and do a glue up on this, let this dry overnight, then I'll come do my drawings, figure out where I'm going to square cut this, how wide it's going to be. Got to measure that piece to see how wide it is. But I'm going to start with the glue up on this, so get that done. if you don't have them already. Silicone mats, the bomb. The glue won't stick to them. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. All right, we're gonna get out a lot of glue. This is an indoor bench, so we're just gonna be using Type Bond 2 and a brush. I just get painter's brushes at the dollar store. Seems to work pretty good. So some of you are wondering maybe why I don't clean the edge. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. We're gonna find out. I think it'll be fine, but I could be 100% completely wrong too. Won't know until we try. So I'm just gonna get this glue spread out. And if it doesn't work, I'll show you what the results are. Made lots of mistakes. I'll make more. Is what it is. We'll find out. So just using a pretty good amount of glue, I think. This side looks pretty good. Probably should have done the other side first, but it'll be fine. And we are going to come back and fill this with epoxy too when we're done. So I think that'll bond anything that doesn't get bonded with the glue. Like I said, or I could be completely wrong. We'll find out. I've been trying to figure out what to do with these pieces, and someone asked me for a bench, so I thought, you know what, these are actually perfect for a bench. So they won't really work for cutting boards or serving boards, which is what I usually do. I get a lot of glue on this side, so I think I'm okay there with that. Try not to get that in there. And then we're going to go ahead and clamp this up. This wood is heavy enough. I'm not too worried about a lot of cupping or anything, but I will put a couple of cross clamps down the other way too, just to hold it down. These are GP Harbor Freight clamps. There's better clamps in the world, but these work quite good. Especially for this kind of stuff. I mean, don't need $100 clamps. I'm gonna go over here and grab a couple of my littles. Go a couple of these guys and a couple of little baseboards. There we go. These will work. Yeah, there's definitely no cupping going on. That side's too heavy to really come up from these clamps, so we're just gonna put one here. Yeah, that'll work. That side's firm to the table. Yeah, get a new towel. Just use an old towel. And we'll get some of this glue off. These got to be quite a bit of sanding done on them. So if it is over a little bit on one side or the other, it's not the end of the world. We're gonna get it all removed eventually. There's a little bit of a gap right here that does not suck up even with heavy clamping. I think this crack was here before, so I'm gonna put a little extra down in this hole and kind of let her soak down. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but we're gonna give it a try. Yeah, I think that'll work. And I'm gonna kind of paint it into this hole a little bit. I'm not gonna try to force it to completely fill the crack because I do want to fill this with some epoxy color later. That'll be enough to kind of hold it together. In the meantime, and we'll wipe off this extra here. There we go. There's going to be some squeeze out at the bottom too, so we'll clean that up once it's dry tomorrow. Yeah, I think that'll work. If I was trying to hide it and fill it, I'd use some sawdust and get it in here, but I want to have the crack there a little bit later on, so I think we're in good shape there. That will hold this together. If for some reason that doesn't hold it together, then we'll drill a couple holes and put some dowels in it too and glue those, and that'll really suck it up tight. So cool. That's as far as we're going to be able to get today. I'll let this glue up. I'll check it again in about 12 hours. I got a little glue over here. See where we're at and how strong it looks. Then I can finish the layout, make all the cuts, and then start sanding, chipping off all the bark, cleaning up my edges, and filling any imperfections. There's a lot left. It's going to be a pretty big project. Once these legs are kind of cut to fit how we think they're going to be, at least up and down, maybe not widthwise yet, but I'll cut up and down. And then we'll get the bench started and kind of get an idea of how wide these are going to be to fit onto the bench. So stay tuned.